Panther people, what up? The Carolina Panthers are picking first overall in this year's NFL draft. You should be hyped. I'm hyped. I think they might just be the next Kansas City Chiefs. Yes, those Chiefs. I'll explain why. What's going on? You're watching Panthers Post with Phil Perkins. Thanks for joining on this very exciting freaking week in Carolina Panthers football history. It's history. The Carolina Panthers are picking first overall as we speak on March 11th. First overall in the NFL draft in Kansas City, of all places. And I think the Carolina Panthers are trying to do what the Kansas City Chiefs did this past season. And of course, they won the Super Bowl. It seems pretty good. I think this plan works. So if you have been living under a Cam Newton-sized rock, the Carolina Panthers did a deal with the Chicago Bears, new GM Ryan Poles. So they sent to Chicago the 9th overall pick, the 61st overall pick. That is the later of the two second-round picks the Carolina Panthers currently had. That was the one given to them from the Niners for the Christian McCaffrey trade. A first-round pick in next year's draft, a second-round pick 2 drafts from now, 2025, and a DJ Moore. So people's feelings are hurt about this. I think we need to do our own self-scouting, but we're going to get to that a little bit later. But in return, the Carolina Panthers get the first overall pick. That means they start the clock. Everyone's talking about the Carolina Panthers from now on. Who are they going to choose? They're going to spend the next couple of weeks, the draft is at the end of April, trying to figure out, is it going to be CJ Stroud? Is it going to be Bryce Young, Will Levis, Anthony Richardson, Hendon Hooker? Who's it going to be? Joe Person from The Athletic, he covers the Carolina Panthers, who's not the first on this, but still, he is very plugged in with the team. And he says it is basically between Bryce Young and CJ Stroud. So if you watch my live reaction before I started work, if you watched my live reaction, you heard me say that if the Panthers gave up this capital just to get someone like a Will Levis, who we've read that the team were infatuated with before he started his season this year in Kentucky, that I would do things to myself, bad things. So I'm happy to know. Again, this is lying season, especially with the teams. But from the journalists, I hope they're not getting paid off by the squad. But the guy who covers the team every single day in Joe Person saying the Carolina Panthers are choosing between Bryce Young and CJ Stroud, and they are leaning heavily towards CJ Stroud. Ironically, Dave Tepper, who wants the flash, reportedly is into Bryce Young, who is the smaller statured of the two quarterbacks, and it is Scott Fitter and everybody else who's into CJ Stroud. So I think that was quite interesting. So I'm hyped no matter what, because I've been saying it before. I'm committed to this. The next Panthers jersey I buy will be the next rookie quarterback. I knew they weren't going to be getting Aaron Rodgers or Derek Carr or Lamar Jackson. I knew it was going to be a rookie. And I said to myself, man, if they draft a Will Levis, who obviously had a rough season in Kentucky, a lot of players left, his offensive coordinator left, offensive line was a bit beat up, but also he didn't really show out that much, at least compared to a guy like Anthony Richardson or CJ Stroud at the Combine in Indianapolis. So that's kind of when you really confirm things. And also you're throwing against nobody. And the fact that he kind of looked, didn't look great, didn't look enough to trade up worthy to get to the first overall pick, I was not happy with that. And so I am thrilled that I'm buying either a CJ Stroud jersey or a Bryce Young jersey. So I'm hype about that no matter what. And if you guys tune into my draft coverage, you might be winning yourself an actual Panthers jersey with either Bryce Young or CJ Stroud. I'll buy 2. Me, you, save on shipping. It's beautiful. So make sure to tune into that. All right. So this is how I feel about this. Specifically the haul. And some people out there in the Twitterverse, and of course Twitter's not real life, saying that the Carolina Panthers got worked. They got fleeced. It's grand larceny for Ryan Poles and the Chicago Bears. I don't think so at all. Like, you can look deep into things saying that DJ Moore was a first-round pick, so he actually sent 3 first-round picks to the Chicago Bears. I don't see it like that one iota. Firstly, you wanted to get your guy. You could not risk. First of all, you're not going to trade the Texans. It's impossible. You could trade with the Arizona Cardinals and hope that the Bears stick and pick, or if you love 3 quarterbacks, if you really did love Will Levis, CJ Stroud, and Bryce Young, you then trade with the Arizona Cardinals, and then you just kind of get who's ever left of the 3, because it's going to go quarterback. I don't think a defensive player is going to go first, unless for whatever reason the Chicago Bears stuck at puck, sticked and picked. So you had to go to 1 or 2. There's no way you're trading with the Texans at 2. They're not going to move from 2 to 9 to try to get their quarterback that they need desperately. So the only other option was to trade at number 1 to 100% guarantee you were going to get the 2 guys you loved. Because according to Joe Person, again, CJ Stroud, Bryce Young, looking at CJ Stroud at this moment. So in order to get those guys, you cannot wait at 3. You can't wait at 5. You can't wait at 2. That's impossible. You can't get to 2. So you got to go to 1. And I thought it was going to be way worse. And according to Joe Person, sending DJ Moore in Chicago, who needs a number 1 wide receiver for Justin Fields, who didn't really have any last year and was running for his life and was knocked out enough times. DJ Moore kind of made it a little watered down in terms of the draft picks. That's why they sent a second rounder, not a first rounder, in 2025. So there's the explanation for that. But the 9th pick deal, the lower of the second round picks, I'm going to talk a little bit about that and why I think that is important. The first round pick next year, who cares? You're not trying to get a quarterback next year, hopefully, gosh. And then a second round pick in 2025, I'm okay with that because then you get that first round pick again. You get another blue chip player, whether that's another offensive lineman if Taylor Moton falls off, or a defensive stud, or maybe another number 1 wide receiver. Who knows? Let's talk about the DJ Moore of it all. I know it's sad, but at the same time, I think we got to do a little bit of self-scouting, people. I know he's done amazing things in the past. 1,000-yard receiving, except this year with a rotation of quarterbacks. And I know it's not his fault because of the situation his team has been in and the reason and the fact that they were in the rule era for so long and they were just so inconsistent throughout and toxic and rough to watch offensively and everythingly. But the fact that he can still get 1,000 yards, that's great. That's cool. But he didn't elevate. He didn't help win games, obviously, because the quarterback play, and that's kind of the common denominator here. Sure, he's getting 1,000 yards, yada, yada, but it takes a quarterback, a great quarterback, to propel a team to the promised land. It's not one great wide receiver. That's just not the way it is. It just doesn't work like that. And I'm going to get to the Kansas City Chiefs comparison, but he's not going to win you games. He's not going to win you a Super Bowl. You need the quarterback. And if it means getting rid of a number 1 wide receiver who's not exactly a gigantic, game-changing kind of guy, or if he's not not undersized, but he's not Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase isn't 6'5". He's not Calvin Johnson. But Jamar Chase can change a game in an instant. DJ Moore, there are times where he's just like, what is he playing today? What's going on? And so, yes, again, you could always say it's the quarterback. You could always say, it's the offensive coordinator or lack thereof. But he can't take over games. He can't just, despite all the challenges that he is facing, he's still not changing the game for you. And a quarterback will do that. A CJ Stroud will do that. A Bryce Young will do that. The guys who are quote-unquote special, according to the draft gurus. So you got to get that quarterback. And this is where the Kansas City Chiefs comparison comes in. Tyreek Hill, arguably a much better receiver than DJ Moore. In his last season with the Kansas City Chiefs, had just over 1,200 or 1,300 yards receiving. That's a lot of yards. But then they traded him to the Miami Dolphins, and they thought, man, their offense is not going to be great. They're branded as rebuilding, retooling. They got Travis Kelce, cool, but who do you got in your wide receivers now? You got Marquez Valdez-Scantling. You got Juju Smith-Schuster. You got Sky Moore, the rookie. You got Mecole Hardman. And then, you got Travis Kelce, who you can always bank on getting over 1,000 yards, kind of like DJ Moore. Not comparing him, I'm just saying. You can always bank he's going to get over 1,000 yards. But how are you going to get those 1,100 yards from Tyreek Hill? Well, you replace him by sheer numbers. Juju Smith-Schuster had 933 yards receiving. Sky Moore had 250 yards receiving in his rookie year. Marcus Valdez-Scantling, 687 yards receiving for the Kansas City Chiefs, his first year with the Kansas City Chiefs. And then you got Mecole Hardman, who the Carolina Panthers are kind of being linked with right now, getting 297 yards with the Kansas City Chiefs. I think he was injured for a good chunk of the season as well. So that's replacing Tyreek Hill with sheer numbers. Les Brown talked about this in his introductory press conference, the new offensive coordinator with the Carolina Panthers, that it's all about creating chaos before the snap. And you can't really create chaos if everyone knows that DJ Moore is wide receiver 1, and then no one really is doing much after that. Terrace Marshall obviously showed some things later in the season, but maybe he can do better in his third year. But when you have more guys, whether it's DJ Chark, Adam Thielen, you add Mecole Hardman as well, and then you also have Shi Smith, Terrace Marshall, the running backs, all that jazz, then it creates a much more potent offensive threat to the defense. You got to worry about everybody. And so I think the loss of DJ Moore emotionally hurts. 100%. It hurts. It sucks. He was one of like the quiet leaders, not named a captain. Just saying. But I think schematically and what you get in return, hopefully a quarterback that you have for 10 years that you can build around, you now are paying them that, first overall pick money, which isn't the same as what you're going to be paying a veteran quarterback or, guys like a Patrick Mahomes are going to be making like $500 million or more. So I think it's better for the team building wise that you can actually when the Panthers actually start hitting their stride and they start actually becoming Super Bowl contenders, you can then spend that money you would have been spending on a high priced veteran quarterback, get it on a defensive end, defensive tackle, a safety, a number one wide receiver, or true number one wide receiver who wants to win a ring type situation. Then I think it makes sense. It all works out. And you just replace DJ Moore with multiple receivers who are all competent with this staff. And I think it becomes a more balanced and scarier attack. 100%. And I think they're going to add more. That you can't just have Shi Smith, Terrace Marshall, and Tommy Tremble to be receiving balls. It's not going to happen. You got to add somebody. I see an Adam Thielen. I see that working out. He says he wants to join a contender. I think the Panthers are going to contend at least in the NFC South and possibly in the NFC. I mean, the NFC is kind of wide open. It's not just the NFC South. Sure, you got the Saints who got Derek Carr now, but I think the NFC is kind of up for grabs just with the lack of talent out there, the lack of quarterback talent. And if you already drop in CJ Stroud or Bryce Young, they're already kind of halfway, probably some of the best quarterbacks in the conference. So I can see Adam Thielen joining. I like DJ Chark. You can maybe trade. I don't want Nuke Hopkins because he's a number one, but like he's on the older end. I don't know. He already dealt with a kind of a rookie in Kyler Murray. He acts like a rookie. I don't know if he'd want to be all about that, but Thielen, Chark, and then draft. It might not be the deepest and most potent draft. There's no Marvin Harrison Jr. in this draft, but you can get some burners, 100%. You can get some burners. We've seen rookie wide receivers do well in the league, so I'm okay with the DJ Moore trade because you get a franchise quarterback for the next 10 years. You don't have to worry about them getting, as long as they're not freaking Zach Wilson. You can buy that jersey and you can hang it up and you can wear it every day and you're not going to be embarrassed. The overall pick. So that's the early second round pick for the Carolina Panthers. Now that we have the quarterback, my second most exciting thing to look out for is which tight end they're going to get, because this tight end class is crazy. As I remind you guys, Daniel Jeremiah said that there's like 11 friggin' decent, maybe it was 14 crazy good tight ends in this draft. So I think with the early pick, the 39th pick, the early second round pick, I'm so jazzed to see what the Carolina Panthers do with that. Personally, I think they're going to get a pass-catching tight end, a stud, whether it's Dalton Kincaid, whether it's the Musgraves cat out of Oregon State. I don't think the tight end out of Notre Dame is going to be available, but the amount of depth that is in this draft, and Darnell Washington out of Georgia at the tight end position, and when you have a rookie quarterback, their security blanket is always going to be that tight end. So sure, Tommy Tremble might still be around, but you get another big body, freaky, athletic tight end. I don't think Tommy Tremble will even make this list of the tight ends that they have in this year's draft in terms of how good they are. So I'm so jazzed. I hope they go tight end. I don't think they go any other position. Maybe edge rusher if someone's still available. But I see them going hardcore in the offense. Scott Fitter says it's going to be a sexy draft. That's what they're going to be looking for. And so I think they're going to be getting a stud tight end that's going to be growing with our rookie quarterback, Bryce Young or CJ Stroud, for the next 5-10 years, kind of like Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce. Let me know what you guys think about the trade. Are you going to miss DJ Moore? Are you mad? Do you think the Panthers got fleeced? Do you think we fleeced the Bears? There's some people who think that as well because we know DJ Moore. And is he going to break open the game for Justin Fields? I don't know. Yeah, let me know what you think. Are there some free agent wide receivers, draftable wide receivers that you're jazzed about? You hope the Carolina Panthers pick up? Is there a tight end that you guys are all hot over? Let me know in the comments below. Appreciate you guys. And also, if you notice the audio is weird, just got an iPhone, just got a new job, got an iPhone. Might not be compatible with the Blue Yeti mic, so I'm going to work on improving the audio. But if you liked it, sans weird audio, I appreciate you even more. See you guys soon.